And hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. How the heck are you? I am Diana Clarion, the Lavender Lady, and this is Coffee with Lavender. Okay, so the first order of business here is I want to check out the audio and make sure everybody's hearing everything okay. And in order to do that, I need someone to help me here. So, I want to introduce to all of you and every one of you the one, the only, the inimitable SciStrike. How the heck are you? Oh, I love having you. It's an honor having you here. Yeah, I get to work with you on a Sunday morning as well as well, I guess that would be Saturday morning in our time zone, wouldn't it? Yes. Oh, how's everything going, side chat? You guys be able to hear and everything? Can't hear him? Damn it! It happens every time. Um, I don't get. I don't get this. Yeah, there. It always happens where my guest is inaudible rather than unintelligible, and I don't know how to fix this yet. Um,
Hmm.
would be really nice to be able to know such that I could get this
Uh,
thing working correctly every time. Sylvia, would you like to move? Thank you. She was standing in front of my screen.
if
Okay.
you if you're using Streamlabs, do you have to pick applications to pipe audio from?
Okay, the thing is, I'm not using Streamlabs.
Nor am I. Nor am I. That's hmm.
Okay, how you guys doing over there on the side chat? Because Cy and I are conversing. I've done all the resets. It's fixed. Okay, so
Alrighty.
I'm just going to have to get the timing right, and I had to go through a cycle between explicitly the microphone and then go to default. Um, so yeah, we were discussing that this was indeed not an extension of movie night. And
Yes,
while
I was
you're
right.
while we're talking about that, um, because this is where I first encountered you and everything else, do you feel like telling everybody a little bit about how movie night works?
Oh, oh my. Well, it's for anyone who's not familiar, it's basically a drinking show with a science problem. It started a long time ago, about 3 years, I think. Was just one or two of the science strike force folk, and we really just did it for our own amusement. We never in a million years thought anybody would want to watch. Hell, after they were made, we didn't want to watch. But yeah, it's a simple thing. We usually have a good time. We
Usually.
watch, yes, we watch some stupid, and when the stupid becomes unbearable, any member of the panel just yells drink. We stop the stupid, and that person, or in some cases, some was said in italics. In some cases, all panel members comment on that. Anyway, yeah, it's a thing, and we do have a good time. And while I was inaudible, there's one part that's important that I have to restate that nobody heard, which is thank you very much for having me on your show. It is a great honor to be here, and I do certainly appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate your coming on, and it honors me that you should be here as well because um, I love working with you. It isn't even work as far as that goes. It's fun. Um, movie night is a whole bunch of fun, and I'm hoping that we can keep that stuff up for a good long time. As long as my kidneys hold down, anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
we will do that. But yeah, we do have a good time as always. And but then again, we have a good time anytime we converse. So this is going to be another good time, isn't it?
I am certainly hoping so, and I'm hoping that everybody over on the side is also going to be appreciating it. Oh, look at that. I see somebody who is naked. Okay, that is taken care of. You have your spanner now, Puff. Yeah, we do
Well,
that here too.
you do that too. That's great. Yeah, it's that's a good thing. It's a nice way to show instant appreciation for people that go out of their way to actually come and listen to us.
Oh yeah, indeed. But the if you'll excuse for a second, clear the throat. Oh my! And I'm still getting used to this. I have my new microphone on my desk here, and at least I'm not coughing into a boom microphone that's coming off my cheek anymore. But yeah, I got the idea to ask you aboard here when it was last week already, last Saturday, I believe, was it not?
Hmm.
That you had gone down to the Kennedy Space Center in connection with the launch of the Crew Dragon. There was a NASA social. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happened? What that's all about?
All right. Well, I'll start as whenever I talk about any of these events. Before talking about the event, I mentioned the actual NASA social program. It
Okay.
is it is a great thing to get involved with. Anyone that has any social media presence. 500 followers, 200 followers on Instagram. At that level, um, I would say apply without saying anything else about the NASA social program. If I was to say nothing else, I would just say apply, because you will learn things. And often the thing that you're going there for that makes it most attractive is, yeah, you'll see that all right. But they wrap it in so much science in understandable terms from the people, from the big brains that actually do this stuff, that yeah, you'll see what you went there for. Like in this case, yeah, we saw the rocket launch. But to me, honestly, that was as impressive and just awe-inspiring as that is. That was not the biggest thing. Learning about the science of what's going on and how we plan on doing things, and the experiments being done here on station, on in various environments, actually is in some cases more impressive than what you actually go there for. You go see a launch; it was beautiful, awe-inspiring, but the science, I didn't want to leave. Um, so I would recommend, this is a PSA. Actually, it's so big. Just type in NASA Social in Google; it'll take you right to the page. They list all the upcoming ones. They don't provide transportation, of course.
Darn
Uh,
it! That kind
yeah,
of leaves people like me out, unfortunately.
indeed.
So,
Well, hey, you know what? Maybe you know how we like to give stuff away over when we're doing stuff and things. Maybe we'll do like either a GoFundMe or something and collect some loot, and if after someone gets if any one of our viewers or whatever gets accepted, maybe we'll send them. There's
hey, that
something,
would be interesting to do something
wouldn't
like
it?
that.
Anyway, and you know how we love giving stuff away.
Yeah, because I haven't been to anything that NASA has done since the open houses that NASA Lewis used to have.
Mm,
I grew up in Cleveland, and NASA Lewis was right in my backyard. And yeah, they used to have an open house every year.
mhm.
And I think the last time I was to one of those was 1967. So a little while ago. But we're not talking about me here, are we? We're talking about this. We're talking about the SciStrike and what he did.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it was a fabulous experience, and I've been to several others. I saw a launch at Wallops. I'm going back. Actually, I'm going back to Wallops. I'm going tonight. Actually, there's which is a follow up on this one. It wasn't meant to be a follow up. This is a second NASA social that was scheduled originally to be about 4 months ago. And if you recall, we talked about it that in this one we went to the veggie project lab.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have a video up about it, which goes into great detail and includes the big brains talking. But basically, it's what I've always said when we talk about going to the other planets and we talk about getting off world, we always just talk about the machine, the ships that get us there. The propulsion, what kind of engines we're going to use, what kind of crew kit, and I've always thought, what about when we get there? Is anybody thinking about that? And I knew they were, but I finally found out on the last NASA social some of the actual things that are ongoing to make things habitable once we arrive somewhere. So it's not just all right, big ship, pack in a lot of food for a year, off they go. The veggie lab was how to grow things in space for food and all that sort of thing. But yeah, there's a video about that, and I'm blabbing on about it anyway. All right.
Well, at some point, we're probably going to want a link to that, or I have a link to your channel here in the description. It would be on your channel.
Oh yeah. It's it is over there, but but anyway, after learning about that and hearing the talk about station as it is now, the International Space Station, and how it's used for experimentation in there are experiments in food production and things of that sort. And there was briefly touched on was Gateway, which is going to be the lunar orbiter, the inhabitable lunar orbiter, upcoming, which is if you remember in the previous administration, there were plans laid out for a straight shot to Mars. No staging. It was going to be, staging, but man-made staging areas on the way. And then I was sort of not upset, let's say disquieted, when things changed under this administration. Excuse me. And it was, we're going back to the moon. Like, what the, why the hell are we doing that? Been there. We know how to do that. And I'm thinking, what? Okay, so we're gonna, instead of doing what's hard, we're doing what's easy. No, not that it's easy, but a little, sorry for the backwards Kennedy reference there.
Yes,
but
yes.
Yeah, we're not doing it because it's hard. We're doing it because it's easy. Anyway, I thought, why would we do that? Is it just for show? Because we know we've done it before. We know the math for even the old, hand-done math, how to get into orbit, how to get back. And I was somewhat distressed. And then I looked at the new plans of what's going on, and this back to the moon first actually provides a better, safer, more reliable path to Mars. And an inhabitable Mars, a colonized Mars, in that because it's not, again, even I had fallen victim to the just thinking about the vehicles, the propulsion, the get to Mars, and looking at how we're going to stage and fuel and get people there. This will accomplish the same, moon first. Establish a presence, use Gateway for further experimentation and all that. But doing it this way gives us the additional ability to practice all the other stuff that I was saying I was happy to hear about. The what to do once we get there, how to produce food, how to reclaim water, how to do all that sort of stuff. A lunar presence and Gateway, in combination with station that we already have, this gives us time that while we're working on the how to actually get there, we also get to practice the other stuff that's ultra important, which is everything has to be reusable, the growing of food, because Mars is not like up on the ISS or Earth orbit or even lunar orbit. Any one of those, if a plan for let's feed ourselves goes south, there's a plan B.
Yeah, I mean the moon is only 3 days away.
Yeah. On Mars, there's no plan B. Everything has to work.
Yeah.
So, so in that respect, this new and really, I thought that this "let's go back to the moon" thing was just, well, we know we can do it. It's going to look good on TV. Let's do that. And I could not have been farther from reality.
And I suppose too that you want to get a toilet that finally works, right?
That's handy. That's handy. Although, although
I remember the problems they had with that.
yeah, although Mars gravity should be a little helpful in that respect.
Okay.
But
That's
but
quite similar to lunar gravity, isn't it? I think Mars is what, a tenth G?
it's above that. But it's definitely above lunar. But lunar first, which I thought was a horrible idea and just a publicity stunt, as it turns out, I'm happy to say. And I love being wrong because every time I'm wrong, I learn something.
Yes.
the moon first is in fact the way to go. It is going to work out quite well.
Oh, this is interesting from Pure Ostentation over in the side chat while we're at this. How much stuff would we need to ship to Mars first, given there isn't much there for life?
Lots of stuff. It's I mean, first there are that movie The Martian gave you a pretty good idea. we're
I have to see that one yet.
it wasn't. I mean, as with all movies, they're made to be entertainment, not scientific historical documents. But obviously, habitation is going to be habitation is going to be big and heavy, and is going to require a lot of push to get there. So, gee, wouldn't it be nice if we had some sort of, I don't know, a space launch system that could accomplish that? Oh, funny. We're building one of those. Engines are good. We should be seeing one of those soon.
So let's see. That's the other one that kind of looks like a Saturn with strap-on boosters.
Yes. It'll be when it's sitting on a pad. It is going to be a mean looking space vehicle. But
so I kind of like that they're going with multiple ways to get here and there as well.
Indeed, and the this the commercial crew program, which a lot of times privatization of things in general just doesn't work out because there's too much profit taking and all of that nonsense. But I mean, look at what's going on. I mean, SpaceX, orbital ATK, and it's working, and it's working economically too. so yes, we need obviously habitation environments would need to be sent first. Water reclamation facilities. We need air. Air's handy to have.
It's always nice to be able to breathe.
Yeah. And I have no data on the mechanics of how. No doubt, upon first arrival, it'll be stuff brought along and filtered and recycled, much like a really really big rebreather apparatus, that kind of thing. But that can't be forever. We're going to have to get some gases from the target environment. Breaking down of reclaimed water from ice traces and things like that. But it's there's a lot of stuff. But the interesting thing on that is, I briefly mentioned the veggie lab and the growing of food, and that was the one of the things we'll need to do when we're off world. And I'm saying, well, we're talking about Mars. Gee, I wish I knew more about one, what the rest of the steps are going to be between, here, space station, gateway, and then off to the wild, inky black horizon. And as luck would have it, remember that I mentioned earlier on that there was a NASA social schedule from months ago that was not canceled but was set to be rescheduled. And the funny thing is, after the stuff I just talked about, the one in question has in fact been rescheduled. It's tomorrow. I'll be there, and it's in Wallops, which is a cool place to be anyway.
Now that's the Virginia coast, is it not?
Yeah, and it is called. And what can you imagine the timing of this? Moon to Mars. That's the name of this NASA event, which means all the things I just said I wonder about. That's what this NASA social is about.
Oh my word! Okay, so we may have to have another. We may have to have another coffee when you get back from that one.
Are you really going to do that to your viewers? You said your viewers were not. You said your viewers were all nice people. You're not going to impose me upon them again. They're tolerating it this time. Anyway, yeah. So that's basically it. And I'm very happy that it worked out this way. That right after this one that I have just gone to, Moon to Mars is following it so close because it'll be like I'm doing a continuation. And hey, remember all the stuff I told you a week ago? Well, here's some new something that meshes perfectly with that. But it should be a good thing. Plus, I get to go on another road trip in Bob the Wonder Jeep, and you know how I love that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now the thing is going to be getting onto a road trip with the VW bus.
Indeed, it's still a little twitchy with the auxiliary air intake. That right at the point between high idle and normal warmed up running, the engine does not know how to do its own air fuel mix because of some components from 1977.
Okay, so you have to lay on the choke, basically?
Oh, actually, there is no choke. This was 77. The reason I got it was the year they started with the fuel. The Volkswagen was always willing to experiment with things that they were going to sell to the public. And this was one of them. It was the first year that they had the fuel injected in the 2-liter motor, and they weren't quite sure how to do it. First off, the idle is not, or the speed in general, the engine speed is not controlled by how much fuel you dump in. It's controlled entirely by the airflow. That's what. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And and all 4 injectors fire every time every piston comes to top dead center, which is okay because it leaves a little vapor in the long tubes that go, so that's good. And then after they developed that, the first thing they noticed was it didn't work. So then they said, all right, we think we know why it's not starting up, and they came up with the cold start, where there's a 5th fuel injector and there's a bypass air valve that lets in air intake get sucked right past the butterfly, and to keep the engine at a high idle. And this 5th injector dumps raw gas into all 4 ports at the same time. And they're controlled by bimetallic strips that warm up and close the air thing and kill the 5th injector at the same time. Things like that get old. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but okay, I took up way too much of your time with that. But the point being, before any road trips in the bus, it does need a little more. I could still go buzzing around town and up and down the beach, and everyone seems to love that. But there'll be a little delay before anything long distance.
Okay, well, just make sure to take a camera with you and keep us all clued in on it.
Will do.
But as far as everything else with the social that went on, you mentioned the veggies. What else did we have going on over there?
Well, let's see. In the coolness factor, we got to stand on 39B. You remember, which was kind of cool. That's if some of you may remember space shuttles departing from this very pad. Well, it's a very that whole 39 whole launch complex is it's very old. That was Saturn V days.
Yeah, and it was actually used for Apollo 10. Amazing.
Yeah, indeed. And the 39B, which is that is I'm a little fuzzy at the moment. I with the memory, I'm almost 100% sure that's where SLS is going to head off from. I think that may be the pad.
That would be an interesting thing because that's something I don't know if I should write it down now or ask it now. When you're talking about who's launching from where, when Crew Dragon launched from A, is the entire infrastructure at A, or was it rolled in the way they did with the shuttles and with the Saturns?
Well, that's the interesting thing about 39A right now. It's leased for 20 years by SpaceX. They're the only ones that are going to be launching from there. Okay. And there's a little SpaceX building right next to it. And the thing about the Crew Dragon launch and all that is that they're not put together like the Saturn V's were, and like the shuttle was prepped and all that in the vertical assembly building, which, that is a building. If you ever want to feel like a microbe, walk into that building.
Oh my, I've seen pictures. It's about as far as it goes.
I could show you pictures if you want.
Yeah, because I've seen some taken from the Hammerhead cranes.
All right, let's see.
That were running in the high bays, and yeah, that was wow.
All right, this is if you would you like to see now, or do you have
Well, if you want to throw it up now, why not? That would be fun.
All right. Yeah, this is the vertical assembly building. Here we go. You should be seeing an interior view of bigness.
Yes. Oh, my word. Okay, what I think I might be able to do is... no, wait a minute. Let's get this done correctly here. And I can... no, I guess you're the one who's going to... Oh, wait, no, I think I can do this. If I can present to everyone. There we go. There we go. Now, that'll stay up while you are not talking and everything.
Okay.
Now, what was the sort of thing that went on where you are standing right now to take that picture?
Okay. In this very spot. This is in this building. This was originally constructed, obviously, to, well, not obviously, maybe not, to put together Saturn V's and get them ready for launch. And then, hop them on the crawler and get them moving. And it was also used later on for shuttle, and which is I do obviously, since that program is long gone, I do not have any pictures of it, but I've seen pictures in the building of the shuttles hanging by its nose. How they were put together was SRBs first, fuel tank, external fuel tank, then mount the orbiter to that. But prior to that, all that mounting, you see the orbiter hanging by its nose, tail down.
Yeah.
In midair.
Of course.
And that and it fits. And it fits. It fits in this building. Yeah, this was
because I'm looking at the crane, and is that 400? That's not 400 feet in the air, is it? Or is it that high?
This is not the highest point. Let me see if I have any upward facing. I may not have downloaded. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Here you can see these things. It's a nicely designed building. These panels you see here, sort of in the center, slide out, and then those sort of reddish, orangey looking things, fold down would fold down around the rocket in question while it's being assembled and all that sort of stuff.
The decks for access and everything. Right.
And let's see what else we have here. All right. Yeah, these are basically all views of the same crane. Let's see. I had a couple of looking up views that looked an awful lot like some of the things you saw in like one of the Alien movies. Oh, here we go. Here's Up. If you want to know where Up is, go to the vehicle assembly building. It's in there. That's where NASA keeps Up, and this is it.
Man, I get dizzy already just looking at the picture.
And the interesting part is, even back when the building was built, this is the top. We're done with the building. The building was apparently constructed in such a way that they can go up more if they ever need any more up.
Oh, so it's easy to build onto it.
Indeed. There's that one, and
that one I did not know.
Yes, I found that rather interesting as well. The forethought that was done, and it's still that way. The projects that they talk about, somewhere in the third quarter of what they're talking about, they'll get to the fact that they're talking about something that's going to be functional in 40 years, and yet they're all talking about it in the present. Because of all the steps, and there are enough steps to fill up the time between now and 40 years from now. So yeah, it's very.
That is an interesting thing that I've thought of. I mean, when you're talking about getting to Mars, are you and I going to see it? Especially me. I mean, considering that I'm not a kid anymore.
I believe so. It's not quite as close as. When we were going to do the straight shot, because there's a lot of more interim steps, but it's not in the distant future. And here's they have pictures up of the assembling the shuttles for the mission. Oh, that's the other thing about shuttle and the Saturn V's and a lot of other rockets were put together in the vehicle assembly building. And the other handy thing about having a V in the beginning of that, for the first word of that, is you can also remember the second thing, which is vertical. Our stuff was put together in a vertical fashion,
which, if I remember correctly, was the original name in 1962.
But now it's vehicle. But it helps us remember that we do most of our stuff vertical. Mm-hmm. SpaceX is not. So they, apparently the Falcons are prepped laying down, it would seem. And let's see if we have anything else interesting here.
Which kind of reminds me of the way they do the Soyuz at Baikonur.
Let's see.
Just like they're prepped laying down and erected into position. That is a thing.
And
hi, Casey, how you doing?
Oh, and here's something that is actually a thing that I did not know. This is a real thing. I mean, you knew it had to be there, right? Mm-hmm. But you just never pictured it actually existing. It does. And all right, let's round this out so I'm not going through the home movies for everyone and putting them to sleep. Here's what we went.
You posting that one?
Yeah, here's what we went to see, and here's us hanging out at 39A with all of its history just radiating at us, which is kind of cool. Here you can get, I think we can get a view of the SpaceX building in this one.
So that's one of the perks you get when you're not in orbit.
Yeah, and oh yeah, and if you notice, in addition to that, the additional feature provided for astronauts is if you look all the way to the right of this image, there's a spa.
Okay.
Okay, there's no spa. That's the SpaceX building.
Yes.
There's no, actually, you know what? There may be a spa. I mean, who knows? They do take very good care of the astronauts, obviously.
Yes, they do, and they will deserve it. Now, I don't know if they take as good care of the astronauts now as they did in 1960. Some of the stories about that, but that's for another show, I suppose.
Indeed. So, yeah. So we were, as you can see, we were kind of there-ish, like
Now,
right
how
there.
close were you?
We were, well, if you look at this fence, that's right off of this. That's about 100 feet off of the skirt of. You can see the concrete there, and then more grassiness. We were pretty damn close.
So
a couple hundred
were
feet
they to
from
light that up right there, you would have been toast.
died. Yes, absolutely. There would never be another movie night. But yes, this would not be the place to be. Generally, yeah, and generally observations, everything is cleared for a couple of miles off. I mean, miles, not
Right.
not 300 feet like this.
Yeah, I remember back in Project Gemini, they violated one or two of the safety concerns with launching the Aeginas from Pad 14 and then the Gemini spacecraft from Pad 19. They were too close for normal operation, and that was, I believe it was 1,700 feet.
Hmm.
So
Indeed.
yeah, you get some high numbers when you're working with that.
Oh, and Brian, yes, absolutely. You're right. You're right. This picture is an absolute fail. This basically mandates that we do exactly what you say. Need to go see for ourselves.
Oh, I'd love to. That is one of the few reasons I would go down to Florida. I mean, I'm not much for hurricanes. I'm not much for flooding, but I've got a couple of friends down there, and there is Kennedy.
Hmm. Oh, here's something I forgot.
Oh my!
That everyone has seen before and may not know that this was specifically what they were seeing. Let's see if we got a good picture of it. Here we go.
Am I quiet, Puff? We can have a look at that.
This is these are the doors where the astronauts exit. This is and still is where the astronauts that are going to go anywhere from this complex. This is where they come out after being what we just said. They're in isolation for a while beforehand. That's in this building, and these are the doors. Rather unceremonious, but
and I'm picturing the Astrovan. Yeah, over where the little mini whatever it is parked now.
Mm-hmm. And let's see what else is cool. Oh, there's some coolness. Buzz's suit.
Okay, we'll check. Yeah, I guess I am a little on the quiet side. I'm looking at my VU meter here. Let's see if we can help you out there, Puff. Okay, let's see how that works. Let me know, okay? Now, wait a minute. It looks about 600 feet. What is 600 feet ostentation or ostension? Are you speaking of 600 feet away? Or are you speaking of 600 feet high?
Distance from the actual pad, the center of the pad. That's probably a very good estimate. I was saying we're about 100 feet to the skirt, and then another 100 maybe to the rim. Let me get back to that picture so we know what the hell we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, am I still low, Doc? We can do something with that.
Good audio. You sound good over here.
The other thing I can look at is how my stuff is doing.
Oh,
Okay, Ostension is wandering from the base of the vehicle to the top.
God damn it! I should know that. All right, there's the thing I can't answer, but I will get that information for you. Let's see. I could just deflect and use the font of all knowledge, but that would kind of be cheating. I have to actually know.
Yeah, there you go. Um,
That's it. And all right, wait. What else do we have here?
okay, now
Oh,
I just found something out of Spaceflight Now
uh huh.
that says that Falcon 9 Crew Dragon total height is 215 feet,
There we go. All right.
which is not exactly a Saturn V, but it is significant.
Hmm. Well, I find a lot of the things like we were looking at the external fuel tank and the SRBs that they have stood up. A lot of the things we have in our minds are a lot bigger in our minds than in reality. And that first,
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
you know, it's like I give these setups, and it's and it's
Praising sigh.
yeah. All right. A lot of things involved in the space program take on another life when they're relegated to memory.
Yeah.
Like we think of the space shuttle. It's a 747, and and the external fuel tank it's a city block and that kind of thing. And when you see them in reality, because I did when we were. Our whole team was on one of the NASA buses, and I'm looking at the SRBs and the external fuel tank and going, I thought that would be bigger. And 5 different people turned around and said, yeah, that was when I first saw that. That's what I thought too.
Yeah, because the
So,
fuel tank, that's what, 150 feet, something like that?
mm,
It's not that much.
no, it not at all. And it's and even the diameter and all that. This is not to demean that shuttle. The shuttle program was, although it ended up being much more expensive and required an insane amount of maintenance, it was still a kick-ass program and a fine-looking vehicle, was it not?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm,
They did a lot. They packed a lot into that package.
that they did. And let's see. Here, this is somewhat intriguing. This is over at 39B. Um, this is the blast deflector. It's unidirectional now. Um,
Oh,
in the old days, it was not. And
right.
here's the metal plating. You can see the things where you see like little teeth that's overlapped like shingles. And that doing it that way instead of a solid sheet obviously helps with cooling and things of that sort. And all these little fellows at the top, the little white things with the gray tops. That's where the water is blown out to absorb the vibration from the shock waves, so the launching vehicle doesn't shake itself to pieces.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was really interesting because originally I had thought that that water was for the same reason it was used on the Saturn launches, which was temperature control. But then I find out no, it is temperature control and it is shockwave control, just the way the shuttle stood on the pad.
yeah, yeah, and that during the shuttle launches, that the first time I saw a shuttle launch, I was not expecting right before ignition. I wasn't expecting the spray of water, and I was thinking the same. Like what in that position and so visible, it was not expected. But then after seeing it once, you kind of get yeah. Here's another place we were. We were we were at the clock. So and let's
Oh,
see.
let's see what we've got here because I'm watching on the watch page. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the clock.
And I kind of miss the old one, but I guess things wear out after a while, and you've got to replace them.
Yeah, and speaking of old stuff, what do you think? The old NASA lettering or the new NASA lettering in the name? I like the older one. That
Um,
sort of, bendy and well. Anyway,
are you speaking of the worm font?
yes, indeed.
Yeah, that was interesting when that first came out. Now I grew up with the really old stuff, where you had the meatball and you had it looked like Times New Roman, that sort of thing, and
Mm.
that sticks in my mind. But whatever they do, I don't mind really, just as long as they get it done right.
Pretty much, and they do tend to focus on the "let's do this right" kind of thing. I mean, there've been some mishaps, of course, but and that's another thing. I'm glad you said that because that is a point that does need to be brought up. We have such a successful space program in terms of safety. It's almost routine that hey, a rocket's going to go up on Tuesday, and a lot of people don't even that are interested in it don't even bother looking into it until Thursday because they know everything's going to go okay.
Mm-hmm.
What people are missing is space is still a very dangerous business.
Oh hell yes.
There are the the possibilities for just catastrophic disasters and are never far. It is only through to it's only through the diligence of the people involved, and that is averted. But it's almost as if people are taking the whole launching of spacecraft much too casually. Like we consider a city bus system. And
Yeah.
but
And it's a very good thing that the folks, where it counts, the designers, the ground crews, that sort of thing, don't take it so glibly.
mhm.
They learned the hard way, as far as that goes. Well, especially the first crew loss, Apollo 204, also known as Apollo 1. That really surprised and shocked everyone.
Mm.
Well, you didn't think you were going to lose anybody on the ground.
Well, yeah, it's from start to finish. Space is a dangerous
Yeah.
business.
And then
It
the other
won't.
thing is, I mean, when you're talking about space, when you think about it, from where I'm sitting to the ISS, okay, if it's overhead, is I think about the distance from me to Harrisburg or
Mm,
maybe State College. But it's a lot different when it's up
yeah,
instead of east.
agreed. Uh, and just to wrap this up, this is half of our group because I was seated somewhere near the middle and I took pictures in both directions. Um,
Oh my.
when
Oh
you're
my.
there, when you go to one of these events, and I hope everyone that hears this, I hope you have opportunity to do so. It's an experience you will not forget. You'll tell your great grandkids about. Um, it's a good thing, but while you're there, uh, you are basically, you're not just, regular civilian. In certain instances, you're treated as they would a representative from CBS News or CNN. In other instances, you're walked through the labs, and you're taken through the labs just like the scientists that are working there. And this particular picture is in a mission briefing room, and what they went through was basically a mission briefing. Um, just like they would for I would say just like for actual media, but that's how the NASA social program considers the social media visitors. They treat them and talk to them as they would actual media.
And that is wonderful of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And the other the other thing is we get better because um, the representatives from newspapers and television stations, things like that. They can come, they can film stuff. They don't get the tours. They don't get to talk to and ask questions of the scientists that are actually working on the stuff. And if anyone wants to make the argument that NASA is some secretive organization, oh no, no indeed. Everyone you encounter there in any position, from intern to administrator and everyone in between, everyone we met is, first off, they're excited to go to work every day. They love what they do and they see a long-term purpose for what they do. But secondly, they love to tell you what they're doing. And this surprised me at the first one. Like when I met John Mather, that guy that did Nobel Prize, big brain. My first thought was, can he even see me? I mean, I should be invisible to someone of this magnitude.
No.
But no. Nicest to people, and went into great detail about what they were doing. And basically the entire organization. I mean, obviously there are things that would be excluded. Like if there's some military project, we're obviously not going to be taken there.
Of course.
But we didn't encounter any of that. And they love nothing more than telling you in as much detail as you want, what they're doing and what they're going to be doing and how they're doing it. And then they'll show you the machines they designed to do what they need to do. And secretive organization, no. This is the most transparent government-based organization I have ever encountered. I mean, yes, it's a civilian organization, but it's government. Yeah, you know how that works.
Right. Yeah, government.
They are not a secretive organization. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have this program to have ordinary folks like myself, of all people, to come in and gather this information. They want as many avenues for information to get out to the general public as possible. So, anyway, those are the there's my slideshow for my vacation. Hopefully,
what I did on my summer vacation by SciStrike. I like it.
hopefully, I didn't put anyone to sleep. But there's that.
I should hope not. I mean, as interesting as all this is, let's see if we. I want to make sure that we're okay. I'm going to stop presenting. There we go. Yeah, we're all set now. Things are kind of back to normal here in Lavender Ladyland. It is just totally amazing. Yeah, and if anybody is wondering, about the tax dollars spent on NASA's programs, a couple of things you've got to remember. First of all, everything is not necessarily out of the atmosphere. Remember, it's National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So there's a lot of stuff closer to the ground. And also this degree of openness that they do. That costs a little bit too. So, they're spending money on telling you what they're doing. And as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, if you pick up a dollar bill, and that dollar bill is the federal budget, and you cut away that part of the dollar bill that represents the portion of the federal budget spent on NASA, you're not even into the ink yet.
Quite true.
There's about a 0.5%, something on that order. It's
for a tax dollar, it's 0.5 cent, and that's hell. I'd be willing to double that. How much useless stuff do we pay for? We got a bridge to nowhere in Alaska.
And let's not even get started on the southern border.
Oh, I was in a good mood, my friend. What? Why? Disturbing.
But I'll tell you what, and I'm looking over at the side chat here, and I'm wondering if there's anybody over on the side chat that would be interested in a little bit of an after show. Maybe get on the panel, ask Sci a few questions, that sort of thing. If Sci, you don't mind.
Wait a minute. It sounds like you're expecting me to know things.
Well, okay, you know what you did.
Yes, indeed. But yeah. Oh, if I may, we're coming up. You keep these to an hour normally, don't you?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
rewatchability is there.
Indeed, absolutely. Let me very quickly just not expand on, but add to something very valuable that you brought up, which is that NASA is not just space. One of the worries, it's Earth. It's here too. It's helping us every day. One of the things I was worried about is that there was great fear with new administration that all climate data was going to be just scrubbed from everywhere and we weren't going to be able to get any detail. No. Uh, NASA's ISAT 2 and all of the other Earth watching satellites are still doing what they've always done, and the information is still available. So the transparency of NASA has not been impacted. It would seem we can still get all the information we could always get. So
Okay.
I'm rather pleased about that. I mean, how many articles are on the NASA's website about what's happened to the ice today, and it's depressing. But my point is, it's still available, and the fears that all that was going to disappear, maybe they were a bit, well, not maybe, they were a bit overblown for me anyway. I thought all that was going to be scrubbed because you know how climate preservation is not profitable, really.
Right. As a matter of fact, it's a drain, but it is a necessary drain.
Yeah. It's nice having an environment that will act. We don't need to save the Earth. The Earth is going to be just fine. We need to save the humans.
Yeah. Harking back to George Carlin. Yeah, definitely. How was it? He said the planet isn't going anywhere. We are.
Quite true. Anyway, let us see here. I've got about if you want, or you can save it for an after show. It's your show. I've got a little clip of astronaut Kjell Lindgren. I always leave out the G in his last name. Especially, also, when I said hello to him, I left out the G in his last name, which is well.
You horrible person.
Indeed, I'm evil. Evil, I say. Anyway, if you want, I've got.
Well, why don't I set up? Yeah. Why don't I set you on presenting? And if you want to throw that on, why not? Because let's get that in the main show, and
All right.
that way people can see it and they know what they're doing. And
All right.
let me. Okay, where are we? There we are. We're going to present to everyone. Oh, look at that.
You should be seeing an astronaut.
Yay, and then hopefully we can hear him. Yeah, we tested this before we went on air. Si's the one with the virtual audio cable, so hopefully you're going to be able to hear Shaw saying something.
Should well if they can hear me, they'll hear this. Thing is, this is raw. This hasn't been shown anywhere, by the way. This is going to be in a future release over on my channel, but this is a premiere. This is the raw footage. The sound is not great because I haven't been able to do any audio processing or anything yet. This is right off of the camera, so you'll hear wind noise and stuff like that. But for the first time ever, here's Jill talking to us, which was kind of cool.
Expedition 44 and 45, right in the middle of Scott Kelly's one-year mission. And of course, we train with all of our international partners. This amazing laboratory that we have in low Earth orbit right now, the International Space Station. And so that meant spending time with our partners in Japan, in Canada, in Europe, and then also in Russia. I had the privilege of launching from Kazakhstan for Baikonur Cosmodrome on a Soyuz rocket. 141 days on the International Space Station, and I got to do 2 spacewalks and saw over 150, 200 different experiments while I was on the station. Came home in 2015, and so excited to be a part of the commercial crew program right now. my current assignment. I'm the backup for all of our SpaceX crews in training. So that's Bob Bacon, Doug Curley, Mike Hopkins, and Victor Glover. So I'm training alongside them. I'm very, very excited for them. Excited for Bob and Doug, who hopefully will be launching soon after this vehicle launches. And of course, Mike and Victor will be launching on the system, their 6-launch mission in the not too distant future. So this vehicle represents that very first step, the culmination of this, of all of the work that's been done to get our commercial crews, to get our astronauts back in orbit. That first step, and we're really excited to see this launch. And test all the system, all the processes, all the procedures, the equipment that go into launching the International Space Station. Our friends, our colleagues are up on the space station eagerly awaiting the arrival of this Crew Dragon, and then we're excited to see it back home. And with the success of this mission, of course, then we're off to the races to get Bob and Doug up on the Gemini 2 mission in the not too distant future. So very, very exciting day. So excited that you all are here and that you're excited about this. It's so neat to see the rocket on the launch pad and happening. Is there any questions?
There we go. That's that was it. And did you already say near the end? An astronaut, someone who's been on the space station, playing bagpipes. By the way, this is the one that brought the bagpipes to the space station.
I remember that.
Yeah, someone who has actually been there looked at our group and said that he was excited that we were there and obviously what he means is to help get the story out and let people know that we're still a spacefaring species, and there's value in it and all that sort of thing. Anyway, and very thoughtful people, by the way. This talk with him in front of us, none of us wanted to leave, and he didn't want to leave. Again, like I said, he wants to tell us everything that he can. He went into how this being on station, it's your environment. It provides you with air to breathe, protection from radiation, and he went on to all the things that the ISS is designed to do. And I thought, well, okay, this is interesting. I mean, we knew this. This is interesting. I wonder why he's reviewing this. And then he said, and this is what our planet does for us. And went into saying and mentioned the Earth's magnetic field and how it protects us from harmful radiation and gives us an atmosphere and all that, and actually mentioned exactly what I was just saying. NASA's Earthside mission, in that we have to do something. We kind of have to take care of it here. So I found that to be very thoughtful and unexpected. I thought he'd be just talking about space, but it was very impressive. Anyway. That's
and what's amazing, something you miss when you see these guys on television or on NASA TV, whatever they're human.
Yeah,
they're people just like us. They put their britches on, one leg at a time, just like we do. And as amazing as they are, they're just like us, and that's the best part, really, when you come down to it.
Agreed, and that's and I'm still embarrassed from when I met Kay Heyer that I every question I had for her, and there were a lot of them, just left my head entirely. All I could think of to ask was, "Can we take a picture together?" That's it. Think of how insulting that is to someone with that much knowledge who has accomplished that much, and the only question she gets from me is, "Can we take a picture?" That was awful. Anyway.
I am following you, pure extension. Okay, I didn't realize that. Sorry about that. Little stuff going on here. Oh, look, heat shield's here. Hi.
Woo-hoo. Naked, though.
Yeah, we're going to have to do something about that. So good old heat shield is here from good old movie night. Yeah, an extension here, kids. Okay, so I've got you, Ostension. I've got you, Adriana. Insects are cool. I can send you some join links here, and yeah, I want to say, as far as winding down this main show, I want to thank you for coming on, site many much, and I want to thank you for sticking around for the continued festivities after this thing is over. And it's I hope that all you guys over on the right hand side enjoyed this. If you didn't, I'm going to slap every one of you down. I know the numbers are a little bit lower here than they were last week, and I'm just going to say that that's because all of you aren't adjusted to the daylight saving time yet, right? That's it, isn't it? Of course it is.
It could be they got word that I was going to be here. You know that. Some people know. You know what? I had enough. I had enough on Friday night. I don't need to hear that again.
Oh my! Let me.
Let me put the link to the NASA social program in here because I really could be they got word that I was going to be here. What the hell? Stop that. Anyway.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, as far as the links and everything go.
Here's a link to the NASA social program. It is my deepest hope that some of you fine people get to experience this sort of thing. And on that note, I will stop taking up time.
I'll pick that up and I'll put that in the description. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that into a new tab so I can put the link into the description a little bit later here. So that anybody watching this later on can see it in the description and run over there and apply and everything. Wait a minute, what are you not going to do, Robert? I don't know here. Okay then. So yeah, let me just pick things up and drop them onto an after show. And thank you guys on the right hand side for coming along to this. And I hope that you stick around for the after show. Let me grab it and put it up for all to see. How does that sound? So what I'm going to have to do here is make this public. Oh, it wants me to select the start time in the future. How do you like that? Yeah, we ran a little bit past noon, didn't we?
That was me. I'm sorry.
We started at noon. What are you talking about? Yeah, let me make sure. Okay, there it goes. Now we're all set. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is pick this up and give you guys the... no, I don't want that one. I want the upcoming. I don't want the live now. There we are. How do you like that? Okay. Let's open the link in a new tab and let's pick up the URL here. How does that sound? Copy. And wait a minute. What am I doing here? Am I doing this right? How should I know? I'm only running this damn show. There we go. And in the side chat,
all the words that run through my head silently while I'm trying to maintain a show. But you're saying them out loud. I mean, the phrase is like, "Where the hell's the video? I'm supposed to have a video to play." Holy crap!
Yep, that's the way it works, kids. I talk too much. I know. Yeah, if everybody would like to bang on that link and Cy, you just sit where you are, and we're just going to move from here to there. And okay, until we do that, Um, I'll send those couple people, Adriana, Ostension. I'll send you the links. And until we get over there, thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.